Howdy, Space Rangers, Captain Phoenix here. Today is gonna be an interesting day because today we're not doing one, not two, but three reviews. That's right, it's a triple review, or as I like to say, a super review. And the reason we're doing a super review is because all three properties I'm reviewing today are superhero related. So without further ado, let's get into it and let's do it now, cause I'm crazy, baby. So today's top spot candidate people are Black Widow, Suicide Squad, or The Suicide Squad, and Flash Season 7. We'll start with Black Widow because it's only one Marvel property and two DC properties, so let's jump into it. Black Widow, what did I think of Black Widow? Well, it's not a great movie. It's a good movie on its own rights. That's what I think of Black Widow. It's a movie that isn't trying to be something big. It's just a serviceable movie. I like the whole spy atmosphere feeling of this movie. Like I like the tension and the way it actually acts a bit like a spy movie. Like if you showed me this movie and then showed me a Mission Impossible movie, I would not be able to tell the difference. So I like the whole spy. I want to say, I don't know what you say. Is attitude, atmosphere? I don't know what you say about, the feeling you get from this movie. I also like the effects. Obviously, it's a Marvel movie, so the effects are gotta look good. And seeing as it's not a superhero movie, they at least put the money into like other things like explosions and whatnot. I also really like Natasha's character. I really feel like we got to see a bit more of her character here, and the rest of her family too. I guess I liked Red Guardian. I liked the sister. What's her name? I forget her name. I haven't seen this movie in like a week. But the mom is the only character I didn't really like. I don't know, I just didn't care about her. And I also really liked, I wouldn't say I liked the villain Taskmaster. I liked their concept. I just wish it was more comic accurate, because the Taskmaster from like the comics and other TV shows, that dude's a beast. This one is just kind of here for one movie and then they're kind of gone. I wish we got to have gotten to see more of them. And just one thing that annoyed me about this movie is how, even though it's a superhero movie, Natasha Romanoff herself isn't a superhero, yet there are like so many instances in this movie where she should have died. But because she has the biggest amount of plot armor in the movie, because we know what will happen to her in Infinity War, she doesn't die. It's just like, I also like the first 5 minutes, the way it was treating like a creepy spy thriller thing. Like, yeah, I know where you're going with this. The weird government, the secret organization of the government, the dark hiding things, Illuminati, boom, 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 foo, 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 foo. And that was about it. The rest of the movie was like, okay, it was your typical Marvel movie. Characters to fight a villain with the exact same powers as them, blah, blah, blah. We've seen this before. Overall, Black Widow isn't anything special. At the end of the day, I think I'd give it a 6, maybe a 7 out of 10. Not the best Marvel movie I've seen, but certainly not the worst. Next up is The Suicide Squad. Not Suicide Squad, The Suicide Squad. It's still a sequel to the original Suicide Squad. It's just added the to the name of it. Now, before I talk about this movie, I might as well give my short thoughts on the first movie. I saw the original Suicide Squad, and I thought it was garbage, to say the least. Not that I hated the story. The story was fine, and I was fine enough with the cast. Like, I feel like the characters were played well by their actors. It's just the actual characters, I didn't really care about them. I didn't care about the story. The pacing was god awful, and the movie just didn't make any sense. At the end of the day, I just kind of left it feeling, well, I wasted my time. With this movie, it's a lot different. So the Suicide Squad is, again, as I mentioned, a follow-up of the original Suicide Squad. And it seems as if they took everything that worked about the original Suicide Squad and upped it by 100 whilst keeping nothing that ruined the first movie. And I gotta say, that is how you make a sequel. So yeah, the second Suicide Squad was a good movie. I really enjoyed it. This is by far one of the most creative superhero movies I've seen. Whilst the characters themselves are not heroes, they're like villains, it's still like a superhero movie. And I gotta say, this is still one of the most creative superhero movies I have seen. It is so much wacky, crazy adventure stuff going on here. The main villain is a giant alien starfish. And like we have, I even uploaded a video on my second channel of like Idris Elba making a custom gun. I'm like, yes, a customizable gun. gun. I have been waiting for this kind of thing for years, and no movie has ever made a customizable gun, and therefore this movie just gets so much respect for doing so. Also, kudos to a bunch of comic characters I was able to recognize. I personally have not read as much DC comics, yet I could recognize like a lot of characters from like other shows I've seen them in. I also know the whole joke of like how they wanted to hire Idris Elba to play Deadshot, but then they're like, nah, let's see if Will Smith will come back in the future. So they had Idris Elba play another dude. Also, how many gun people are here? DC, why do you have so many people who have guns, and not just have guns, but they're like good with their guns? Doesn't even make sense. Obviously, we have John Cena playing Peacemaker, and I found him to be a fun character, though again, he was played by John Cena, so I couldn't see him for like the whole movie. And yeah, overall, I just enjoyed this movie. It's a fun movie, though it is, I think this movie was like rated 18 plus, if I'm not wrong. And trust me, it is 18 plus for a reason. There is gore in this movie. Like, characters straight up get torn in half, or like are bleeding, or like have their heads chopped off. It is gory, and I love it for that. Like, damn. I know there's some people who are not like into graphic violence or some sort of the kind, but damn, this movie knows how to do it well. It's not so gory to the point of it just being disgusting. Like, I know there are a lot of like adult cartoons or whatever that are just like gory for the sake of gory, and they're just disgusting for shock humor. This thing actually uses the disgustingness to like its advantage. So I like it because of that. And that finale, what the hell was that finale with Harley and the rats? I don't even get it. I like it. It really just made me wonder, what the hell am I watching? There was also what's this? I also like how this movie was kind of subverting the expectations a bit, especially with the character of Harley Quinn. Because when it comes to Harley Quinn, we all expect her to be the main character. In Suicide Squad, she was more or less the main character, aside from Will Smith. And in Birds of Prey, she was also the main character. I have not seen Birds of Prey though, but I do know she was like a huge character in that movie. And so I know coming into this movie, a lot of people were expecting, oh, Harley's gonna be the main character. Oh, Harley's gonna steal the show. Surprisingly enough, she doesn't even do much in this movie. And when you think she's gonna do something, she doesn't. Like, we have the dictator of this country, and he asks Harley to marry him, and she's like, okay, straight up shoots him like 2 minutes later. And then there's a later scene, or at least at the very beginning of the movie, she's given this javelin, and she's told to carry this javelin with her wherever she goes. And then at the end of the movie, she uses the javelin to like try and stab the starfish alien, and it doesn't do anything. The rats finish off the alien. Like, the javelin wasn't even important. So like, damn. So I don't know whether it was the movie trying to be like it was trying to be subversive, or whether it was actually turning on the Harley, but I liked it. I also liked all the characters on the main team. Like, as I mentioned, I liked Peacemaker, I liked Idris Elba, all of them acted well. Polka Dot Man was crazy. I liked his character, especially towards the end where he finally grew into his own person. Shame he died, but I could tell he was gonna die from the start. Overall, this movie was really fun, really enjoyable, and I definitely think I would watch it again. It is a fun ride of a movie. So all in all, I would say probably 8 or 9 out of 10, depending on what mood I'm in. And yeah, the only thing that ruined this movie for me is that annoying ferret. It's like this CGI ferret weasel thing. I goddamn hated it. It is so ugly, and I was so happy when it like died at the beginning of the movie, but then it comes back to life at the end of the movie, and I hate my life. So yeah, the Suicide Squad gets more like a 9 out of 10 for me. It's a fun ride. Go watch it. And I obviously saved the best for last. The Flash Season 7. Oh my god, what was this season? Just wow. Just wow. Like, this season was so bad. But here's the funny thing. It was so bad, it's good. I really want to know how this masterpiece of a season came to be. Like, oh my god. We went from season 1, where the show was a drama. It was a superhero drama show. It was like The Flash season 1 through 3 was what every other TV show, or at least what every other superhero show wanted to be. And then after season 4, it just went off the rails, and this season is the culmination of that. I am so excited to see what they have in store for season 8, because I can only assume season 8 will be bigger and crazier. Oh my god, this season was so bad. For a bit of context, I might as well give you my history with the Flash. So I'm not like the other fans. Look at me, I'm saying like I'm not like the other fans. Like, I'm not like the other girls. You know those movies where the main character is a girl and she's like, I'm not like the other girls. I'm being like that. I'm not like the other Flash fans, but it's kind of true. The first 2 seasons of the Flash were like okay to me. I liked season 1 enough, mainly because of the villain. Like, damn, Tom Cavanagh, get a new back, my guy. Your old one is broken from carrying this show. So I love Tom Cavanagh. especially like in the first 3 seasons, especially. And yeah, so I really liked the first season. It was an okay season. I just feel like Barry should have been more powerful, or at the very least, I feel like it could have sped things up quicker. Definitely like the second half over the first half is what I'm saying. Season two, I'm not in love with it. I know a lot of people love season two to death. I just don't like it as much. I just kind of find season two to be a copy and paste of season one. It's literally the same story, down to Barry's parents being killed by a speedster. And really, the only thing new thing they add is the multiverse. Overall, season two kinda is like just season one. It's like it goes beat for beat what season one was. It's just season one but better, but I can't like it as much because I've already seen season one. Season three was a bit weird. I liked the story. It was just tonally off. That was a season that did not know what Tony wanted to be. And season four tried to correct this, but it just went in the complete opposite direction. That it became a Saturday morning cartoon. And believe it or not, I know I am gonna get so much hate from the Flash fandom because of this, but season 4 is my favorite season. Yes, bro, you suck. Oh my god, are you even a Flash fan? Get a life. You're some dumb internet fat dude who lives in his mom's basement, you loser. Yes, I know all of that stuff. Yes, okay? Yeah, I admit, I like Flash season 4. It's by far my favorite season of the show. Season 5 was mediocre. It had a few elements I liked, but it just was not there yet. And it kind of felt very lacking compared to the others. Season 6 was by far the worst season of the show. I will say it once and I'll say it again. That season was so boring. They made the Flash slow. How do you make the Flash slow for an entire season? Is the Flash even, the Flash at that point? Like, is it even the show? And season 7 is a lot like season 4, except even more cartoony. The entirety of season 7 is like a Saturday morning cartoon cranked up to 11. It is so bad. It's not as bad as season 6, but it's still bad. You see, when it comes to film and media for me, there are different categories of what I would like to call bad. We have the worst of the worst. The worst of the worst to me is a boring story. If a movie or TV show cannot entertain me, then it's not worth existing. And that's why I always consider those things to be like the worst pieces of film or media, because you're boring. You're boring to watch and you're not entertaining. Why would I watch you? You are the worst piece of garbage out there because you're boring. So at the bottom of the list would be boring. The next part of how I categorize what's good and what's bad would be on its on how bad it is. Like, you can be bad. You can be the worst piece of garbage on the street. You can have horrible writing, horrible editing, horrible acting, but at least you're entertaining. You are so entertaining that you actually are better than the boring stuff, because the boring stuff, there's nothing there. At least when you're bad, you're entertaining. And of course, we have the last criteria. This one is also at the bottom of the list, like under boring, because at least boring, you're bored. You don't have to watch it. But we have something under boring, and that's missed potential. I hate it when a TV show has like a lot of potential on their plate, but they don't go anywhere with it. Like, they're like, oh yeah, we have this cool story, but we're only going to use like a fraction of that cool story, and we're never going to bring it up again, not in a sequel, not in nothing. And I really hate missed potential. I could go on and on about how much I hate missed potential and why it's worse than boring, but we're talking about Flash here. So the Flash season 7 is in the category of it's bad, but it's entertaining, whereas season 6 was it's boring. It's bad and boring. So with season 7, what is going on here? Well, we have 3 arcs in this season. We have the first arc, which is the season 6 finale, where Barry fights the villain from season 6, Mirror Mistress. And she was, the worst. And the way they defeated her was literally by just talking to her. They're like, oh yeah, remember humanity. Look what you're doing to these people. Don't you feel bad? And then, I don't know, it just comes out of nowhere. It was like such a character shift where she's like, I'm gonna take over the city. And then she's like, oh no, I'm hurting people. Oh no, I gotta feel so bad for them. I'm so sorry. And then she like straight up just not becomes a villain anymore. Like, it was such a weird character change. Like, her character just changed 180 like that. I have never seen a character go through an arc so fast. They didn't even like have to talk to her that long. They're like, remember who you are. Is this how you wanted to treat the world? You're right. This is not who I want to be. Everyone is free. You've defeated me. And I'm like, damn. Then we had the second arc, which was the Forces arc. This one was arguably the worst arc of the season. Yes, even worse than the Mirror Mistress arc. Because not only do they have to talk down the villain again, but Barry and Iris have this weird thing where they refer to the Forces as their children. The Forces are these guys who are born of Barry and Iris' powers. We have like the Psych Force, the Strength Force, and we have the Speed Force, obviously. Oh, and the Still Force. And these guys, they get their powers. But remember, they were regular people before they had their powers. But when they get their powers, they start calling Barry and Iris mom and dad. And even Nora calls Barry dad, and it's just weird. Like, what the hell? And so now Nora tries to kill the other forces, and now Barry and Iris have to talk her down. And then Nora's acting like a little child. She's like, I'm all alone. Someone find me. Oh, and another reason this season was being treated like a Saturday morning cartoon, we had Fuerza, right? The Strength Force. And her alter ego is Alexa. So Alexa is like, oh no, I gotta turn into Fuerza. And then she finally turns into Fuerza. And then they're like, huh? And then Barry's like, huh? Alexa, is that you? So she's like, Alexa and Fuerza together. I'm like, God damn, that was Saturday morning cartoon to the fullest. I really got nostalgia from that line alone because it was so cringy and bad. And then we had like the second arc, which was like the Godspeed arc. This one was so bad. Because like we had the Godspeed clones going like getting revenge and beating villains, and they're like, oh yeah, we want to live, and then the others want to die. But yet it doesn't even mean anything because the original Godspeed comes in and takes all those clones and he's like, aha, now I'm gonna kill you, Flash. And then he becomes faster than Flash, and I'm like, what is this? What am I watching? Not to mention, we had like 3 filler episodes. One with Cecile, where she gets taken over by this golden mask villain. And then again, we get a Saturday morning cartoon moment where Cecile realizes her true potential and she like gets laser eyes and like zaps the evil part of her out of existence. What the hell? And then we have another episode with I don't know, this chick, what's her face again? With the one who has ultraviolet and her cousin. I'm forgetting her cousin's name. But now they're having a fight, and then there's this doctor who's like, oh, love is weak, money is powerful. And then she gains her true potential, her heart starts beating, she's like, pa 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 pa. Was it not Alexa? I don't know. It was dumb. There was a lot of dumb stuff in this season. And when we got to the Godspeed, this season already felt bloated as it is. But let's talk about Godspeed for a second. He's a new speedster villain. Is he a good villain? He's about as cartoony as you can get for a villain. I want speed so I can be Speedster and the ultimate flashy Flash. I'm going to be faster than Flash. And obviously Nora comes back in this season, which I'm happy with. Barry's daughter, Nora. And she comes with Barry's son, what's his face, Bart, and he's called Impulse, and I'm like, oh wow, okay, that's interesting. So I like how we get to look at the new timeline. And then Jay Garrick is in the finale for some reason. Like, hello, did you forget in season 6 you got rid of the multiverse? Now yes, I do know the multiverse isn't really gone, but these guys don't know that. So how the hell is Jay Garrick here? It's not like he's in Earth 1. Jay Garrick, why are you in the multiverse? How are you here? Is there the multiverse? Does it still exist? We'll come back to this in season 8. Also, did you just stay in Earth 1 with Barry and company? Because now they call you Uncle Jay. So I'm just wondering what the heck is going on here. But it was all just an excuse so we could have the whole Allen bloodline like fight together. Like we had Nora Speed Force, we had Jay Garrick, we had Barry, Iris, and their kids fighting together. Why does Iris have powers? Why was she even there that fight? Also, Electric Whip. Look, I can excuse the electric ninja stars, alright? Because it's still the same as shooting lightning from your hands. Like what we've seen with these characters, they shoot lightning out of their hands. So lightning ninja stars, that's excusable because he's still shooting lightning. But an electric whip, like something you can tangibly hold and like just chuck people around with. What? That was not established in this show. What are you doing? What is going on here? And then we have the final battle, which I'll admit was sort of cool because it's Barry versus Godspeed, but Eobard shows up. So now it's Barry and Eobard versus Godspeed, and that was a cool fight. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of got excited at that fight. But it was also the dumbest thing I've ever seen because that fight was Barry and Eobard fighting Godspeed with electric lightsabers. Yes, the finale of Flash Season 7 was a lightsaber battle. Take that what you will. This season was so dumb, so corny, and just so over the place. I love it. Don't get me wrong, it's a bad season. It is straight up garbage, doo-doo water, in fact. But I just love the absurdity of this season. It is so weird. And it's not even weird in like, or creative in like the Suicide Squad. It's just weird and creative in like the worst ways possible. But hey, at least they're doing something. At least it's not, boring or standard like Black Widow. Overall, I would say The Flash Season 7 is the second worst season of The Flash. So by my rankings, it will be Season 6 at the bottom, the worst. Season 7, following that soon because this is straight up garbage. Then I would say Season 5, then Season 3, maybe 2, then 1, and then 4. So yeah, those are my thoughts on The Flash season 7. Dumb show. I am so excited for season 8. I'm not gonna lie. I am really interested to see what they'll keep in store for season 8. And yes, I am here to the bitter end. Alright, I know a lot of people have like stopped watching this show, especially like after season 5 and 6. People just don't consider the Flash to be important anymore, and like they've just stopped watching the show. I, for one, have been here ever since I started watching the show. I wasn't there when it first came out, but I am here. I am here for this show, and I will be here till the bitter end. When this show eventually crashes and burns, when this show eventually self-destructs under its own weight because it was such a dumb show, and like it eventually becomes a bad show, I will be here for it. I will review the entire Flash show beginning to end, looking at how it started great but ended up becoming one of the worst TV shows over time. This is how you see just absolute power coming to nothing. This is the entire Flash show is just the entire metaphor, a fall from grace, or whatever you call it, metaphor or saying or whatever. This show is the definition of that, and I am here until we see it. Also, again, before I leave, there was this dumb arc with Joe and like this police chick. Again, don't get me wrong, I love it when we get to see Joe doing things. Joe's one of my favorite characters from the show. But like there was this arc with Joe and like this dumb police chick trying to like catch her brother, and I'm like, this arc does not tie into the main story in any way possible. Why the hell are we receiving filler here? It was so dumb. It has like a very little payoff. If anything, has like no payoff. And I didn't like it. Joe, get a better arc. And like that's the thing with this show, is that like we have so many side characters and like so many episodes dedicated to those side characters. It's just weird, alright? It's just straight up weird. Because now, like, again, with the side characters and like the side stories, it's just it's not even the Flash. It's the Flash and Friends, or it's Team Flash or Friends of the Flash. It's not The Flash. The show is called The Flash. The main character is Barry, but instead we're like focusing on these other characters. This whole season felt like a commercial for a spin-off show called Team Flash or Central City No Flash or something dumb like that. I don't know. It's a CW. It's weird. So now that season 7's over, I guess I gotta wait for Supergirl season 6 to finish and the show will end. Am I sad? I don't know. Anyways, guys, thank you so very much for watching. If you, thank you for watching this video, sticking around till the very end. I know I kind of spent a longer time on this part here on Flash, but now I was going to make it its own video, but then I was too tired and too lazy to do so, so that's why we're here. Anyway, be sure to like if you like, subscribe if you haven't already. Please comment down below because I really want you to do so, and I want to have conversations with you. Hit the notification bell if you haven't already, and yeah, I've been Captain Phoenix, and with that, I'll see you in another universe. Goodbye, my beautiful space rangers.